Good morning, Apple Services team. I've noticed that our revenues are not quite where we thought they'd be by now. Well, yeah, Tim, it turns out getting people to pay for exercise videos and GIFs and news is a bit harder than you'd think. Well, perhaps if we can't get people to pay more for new features, we can find a way to monetize existing features. Tim, what are you talking about? You want people to pay to download the iMessage app? No, that would be ridiculous. Or what, you're gonna put the calculator on the iPad and charge extra for it? Hey, well, that's a good idea. But honestly, what I was thinking about was selling ad space in our most popular UI. Ads, you say? Ew, ads? You think people would still buy our products if there were ads throughout the OS? Well, they can't go to Android because they have a bunch of ads on them too, don't they? Oh my god, you're right. They would definitely not leave. Oh my god, just think of all of that empty space in all of our apps. We could be filling our lock screens with commercials and billboards. We could even sell a subscription to get rid of the ads.
Wow.
What an intelligent idea. I think all of you in the software team should get to work on this now. We should also probably make sure iPadOS can actually launch on schedule instead of pushing it That's enough! I don't want to hear any more excuses. Get to work. I miss working from home. Let's begin! Oh, this is my absolute worst nightmare. Apple, please don't do this. Mark Gurman, I've never wanted you to be wrong more in my life. But essentially, according to a most recent report from Bloomberg, who annoyingly has a somewhat reputable track record, Apple is debating looking for more ad space within iOS. And I do think there's a little bit of truth to the skit, so for everyone skipping it, you're missing out on the joke here. But Apple definitely wants to become more of a services company. Tim Cook has made that abundantly clear in recent history. And they've tried very hard between the Apple Card, Fitness Plus, News Plus, TV Plus, Arcade, and all of the pluses put together, and Apple One, of course. They want people to start paying more monthly for Apple services. That way their revenue is not so seasonal and not so dependent on foreign supply chains. It's not so dependent on what the public thinks of the iPhone this year. Apple wants to be known more for software services because they have a lot more control over that, and the revenue would be more consistent throughout the year. But we don't know how individual services are really performing because Apple doesn't disclose that information. But if I were to guess based on the fact that they gave me 15 months of free TV Plus and now once again reached out and said, actually, do you want another 3 months of TV Plus? Thanks, Apple. I'll catch up on severance, but I'm still not paying a penny for this service because I don't want to reward them for going down the services route. And I think that it's not a coincidence that despite inflation and despite the prices of everything going up, Apple TV Plus has stayed the same. Like, as far as we're aware, the prices on most of Apple's services have not gone up, and I think it's because Apple cares more about trying to develop market share and trying to get a bunch of people on board with these services, because they know if they start raising prices, they're gonna get dropped, like, really quick, and they can also afford to price these things really low and basically run a lot of their business at a loss, as the iPhone business is still pretty profitable for now. It likely will be profitable for years to come, but if Apple's not getting enough people to subscribe to Arcade or News Plus or Fitness Plus, then they gotta go the other direction. If you're not willing to pay money for these services, we're gonna start working more with advertisers and brand deals and start working ads into the UI, but in a more Apple simplistic way. Thankfully, I don't think Apple is dumb enough to just like start putting pop-ups in your notification center that says like, hey, 20% off your next Uber ride. You should try Uber or something like that. No, they want to be subtle about it. Sort of how Apple already does advertisements in the iOS App Store with the Today View and with search results. Just like Google search, they have a little ad banner when you search most things, and developers pay a premium to show up earlier in the search results. Mark Gurman is saying that the introduction of this process, which is being led by a guy named Todd, who I guess his goal is to triple advertiser revenue for Apple. Wow, what an amazing milestone. But he's saying they want to start with Apple Maps. So basically, when you search for something in Maps, whether it be a gas station or a restaurant, brands will be able to pay a certain amount to get their listing ahead in results, which I'm personally not like a super huge fan of, but I guess there's worse ways you could implement ads. Like, it already annoys me enough that when I download an app from the App Store, you typically get results that are not really what you're looking for, but they have ads, so you know they paid for them. And I don't really want that algorithm messing with my map search results. As long as it's easy to see who's not paying, then I'll just easily skip past that, but it's still annoying and weird that you could search for a particular gas station or restaurant and whatever company is paying paying Apple the most will show up in your Maps feed first, and you'll have to scroll past them and find the one that's not paying, because I want that algorithm based on who's closest to me and who has the highest reviews. I don't want it based on who's paying Apple the most to show up, because if that restaurant sucks, then I don't want that to be at the top of my search results. But Mark also wrote about the potential of Apple expanding advertising in TV Plus and perhaps following Netflix and Disney Plus and having a cheaper ad-supported tier. That's kind of hard to process right now, considering that Apple TV Plus is already pretty dang cheap, $5 a month, and doesn't really have ads. I mean, sometimes before you watch a show, it'll advertise other shows on TV Plus, but that's not really advertiser revenue for Apple. They're talking about the concept of other commercials and McDonald's and Progressive and Geico ads showing up between your Severance episodes, which isn't ideal, but if they did have a cheaper plan or perhaps even a free tier, apps like Peacock actually have a non-paid option with commercials for certain content. Maybe if TV Plus is really doing that poorly, Apple might be willing to offer that, but the more likely scenario that we should probably prepare ourselves for is the idea that Apple TV Plus is gonna get more expensive. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if at iPhone season they suddenly decide that, you know what, it's worth $6.99 now. And because of some of you avid TV Plus fans on Twitter publicly stating that you would happily pay $7 a month or more for TV Plus, Apple's gonna feel very comfortable raising their prices now, because they're like, yeah, see, these guys are hooked. We can charge whatever we want. And then maybe after that, they'll launch a $2.99 ad plan, or maybe if you buy a certain iCloud package, you get Apple TV Plus for free with ads, and you just gotta pay a bit extra to get TV Plus Premium or TV Max or TV Pro. Oh my god, the naming schemes here is pathetic. But while I respect Apple's hustle as a business, like yes, for profitability's sake and sustainability's sake, it likely makes more sense to pursue service revenue, I'm not a fan of it as a customer, because I was already getting ticked off on how often I would use the Apple News app and it would try to upsell me on News Plus, or I would be scrolling just through the Stocks app and get ads for News Plus, or sometimes I would even get push notifications on my lock screen telling me to subscribe to Apple Arcade or to TV Plus, and I was like, would Steve Jobs have appreciated that? Probably not, but I don't like speaking for the guy because he's gone, but I don't want more of that to happen, like more subscriptions and more pop-ups to start showing up in every single app. Like, frankly, Apple, I know it's frustrating and you want to be a more sustainable company with recurring revenue coming in each month, but I would rather just pay more for your hardware. If you're worried about your long-term success, just apply some price hikes on your iPhones and Apple Watches, which you seem to be doing enough as is, but if paying more for a product meant that I didn't have to worry about ads or pop-ups or push notifications telling me to subscribe to something, then I would probably pay it. In fact, I think that's why a lot of people like to buy iPhones over cheaper Android phones or Android tablets, some of which are subsidized and can be so affordable because of the ads and because of the banners that the developers and operating systems bake into them. It's a pretty common thing with Fire tablets to just have commercials on your lock screen all the time, but I don't want Apple to become like that, and I hope that if this is true and they are going to start rolling out ads to more and more apps, they find a way to do it in an elegant and non-intrusive way. Like, do you guys think there should be a free Apple Music tier with ads, kind of like Spotify has, or would you prefer Apple just not try to increase their ad revenue growth at all and just pursue more profitable forms of business with hardware? All of your theories or doubts, let me know what your thoughts are down below. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I'll see you in the next one.